another Friday, and you're welcome to Insight. Today on Insight, our discussion segment will be focusing on Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, also known as SHOPI. In February 2012, after the uproar that followed the partial withdrawal of subsidies on petroleum products, the federal government announced the establishment of SHOPI and constituted a board to manage funds saved from the policy to convince Nigerians of its good intentions. The program has remained in the front burner of public discourse for diverse reasons. So, almost 2 years down the lane, the questions are, how has the partial removal of subsidy on petroleum products impacted on the life of the average Nigerian? How is SHOPI discharging its given responsibilities to the public? Is the SHOPI management team accountable enough? These are some of the questions that you will find answers to on our discussion segment today. Retired Colonel Tony Inyam is a newsmaker anytime, any day. 3 weeks ago, Colonel Inyam got involved in a shouting match with the governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, at the South-South pre-conference hearing of the Presidential Advisory Committee on National Dialogue in Benin City. That singular event has caused a spiral of other events and development. On a special interview segment today, Colonel Tony Inyam will be speaking on that incident and issues around the proposed national conference. Of course, other Sunday issues will come up, so stay tuned. As usual, on our media review segment, Eniton has been watching the watchdog, the fourth estate of the realm. Eniton, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, Femi. How are you?
I'm okay, I'm good.
That's great. Hello, Nigerians, good day. I hope you've had a great week so far. Today we'll discuss a few interesting current affairs issues that have come up in the media during the course of the week. It's great to have you join Femi and I on Insight today. And remember to join us on this interactive platform every Friday morning on this network.
My name is Femi Adefila. Once again, good day. When we return, our discussion segment will come your way. Welcome back. The partial removal of the petroleum product subsidy by the federal government in January 2012 was greeted with wide-scale resistance and condemnation by the mass of the people. However, to convince Nigerians that the partial removal of the fuel subsidy was aimed at conserving and maximizing the oil wealth of Nigeria and use it for Nigerians, the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SHOPI, came on stream. This, in specific terms, saw the emergence of a sharing formula for the accrued savings from the subsidy removal among the federal, state, and local government in accordance with constitutional provisions. While the federal government takes 41% of the accrued savings, state and local government share 54% of the funds, and 5% goes into ecological funds. The SHOPI committee, put together by the federal government to manage its 41% share of the savings, identified infrastructural projects and social safety net programs as critical focus of its activities. To look at the SHOPI journey so far, today on Insight are Dr. Fatima Adamu, the convener maternal and child health program from the SHOPI office. Madam, you're welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure.
It's nice having you. And of course, I also have the coordinator of programs SHOPI, Engineer Buka Ali Fatuma. Engineer, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm going to go straight to the man, not because I respect the rule that says ladies first. I want to start with them. Sir, 2 years down the lane, how will you describe the journey so far? Almost 2 years though. Has it been rough? Has it been smooth? What are the itches? What are the challenges? And what are the achievements?
Well, thank you very much. I must say that it's both rough and smooth. Rough in the sense that when we started first, when Mr. President inaugurated the committee under the leadership of Dr. Christopher Kolade, with late General Maman Kwantogara, and also General Agwai, and a host of others, eminent personalities in Nigeria. Now, in February of 2012, we were trying to put our house in order first and foremost, because we want to run away from the bureaucracy and racism of the old order, old ways of doing things by the ministries. There were 4 or 5 key ministries that were selected by federal government to interact with. Federal Ministry of Works, Niger Delta, and the Ministry of Transport, and the Culture and Tourism, and also Health, Ministry of Health. So what we did first was that, let us see what is on ground. We need to study how far the projects and programs are. So that means that, you have to go around and visit all the sites. And that's also a time consuming about up to 4 or 5 months before we actually started the actual work.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to go straight to the convener of the maternal and child health program. Where is the main factor missing in all this? Is it because we were maternal and child health? I'm just saying that on the right note. But I want to ask that you have 500 primary care centers across the nation. And you have identified them for refurbishment and inclusion in the program. How far have you gone with this?
Yeah. Actually, one of the biggest problems was, in Nigeria, of course, was the maternal and child health, was the problem of maternal mortality. And of course, to reach out and the burden of that death is happening in the rural areas. And we recognize that for us to be able to reduce the maternal death, we need to reach out to those hard-to-reach rural areas. And that was why SureP made PHC, that is the primary health care, a priority. And we selected the 500 facilities, and that's the rural facilities. And we've gone with the renovation. We not only, first of all, what we did, the biggest priority was to really get the health workers, the midwives, to be there, to be attending to the needs of our women and children. And we immediately, within a short period of time, probably within 3 months, mobilized over 2,000 health workers and posted it in these facilities, that's the hospitals in rural areas. Thereafter, again, continuously, we were doing that, to the extent that now we have about 500 health workers working in these 500 facilities.
500 health workers? One health worker to
at least. In fact, in some hospitals, we have more than that. So what we have the midwives, and we have the CHU. So if we were to combine them, in fact, they are more than that, because we also have the village health workers. But those who are really working, at least on the average, as we said, is one per facilities. We really want to have more than that. And because we know there's no way, we want them to be available 24 hours. And there is no way a health worker can work for 24 hours.
We will come to that.
Yes.
Now, let me go back to engineer. Now, roads and bridges are some of the programs that you have, looking at your 2012-2013 budget. And I saw the second Niger Bridge, and of course the Niger Delta East-West bypass. How far have you gone with this laudable project?
Well, we have 2 components in SureP. One is the critical infrastructure, whereby we deal with roads and bridges, and also the roads itself. Now, under roads and bridges, we have a convener, just like Doctor is a convener of MCH, and also Niger Delta Affairs, also, which is in charge of the East-West Road, is also headed by Maji Sam Owabuna. He is the convener there. Just as I'm talking to you now, just last Monday, just about 3 days ago, we went and made a showcase, like road show of that project. We drove all the way from Wari to Kayama, Ahoda, Port Harcourt, then to Eket, then we ended in Oran in Akwa Ibom State. So this road is about 338 kilometers of road, and they are segmented into 5 sections, handled by 5 contractors. Quite all right, some are very well doing, some cannot do fast, but in a nutshell, when we appropriated, or rather money was earmarked in 2012, about 21 billion was given. Unfortunately, because of the time that we started, like I said earlier, in July, we couldn't spend all that money because we have to go and really establish the baseline, and then the conveners and then the subcommittee members should go and verify the authenticity of the work as being designed.
Have you achieved any milestones, significant milestones?
Yes, exactly. Now, from Wari to Kayama is smooth right now. The little bit of problematic area is after Patani from Kayama all the way to Ahoda. They are a little bit slow, but that one that's a modest achievement because the Niger Delta Ministry has alluded or acknowledged that hitherto Shuwapi they are only at about 40%, but now overall we have achieved about 75% of completion.
Okay.
So by
the second leg of the question, that is the second Niger bridge.
Yes, the second Niger bridge also is additional bridge to to align with the existing bridge. We are about 6 kilometers away from the existing bridge. It's an alternative, for crossing the river water, but it is still at its rudimentary stage because this one is going to be handled under PPPP, private partner by the Ministry of Works. So that one is still on, but the local Oeto bridge, which is handled by RCC, is about 65% completed. We visited that one, and as and when they bring the certificate of payment, we just go and visit and verify and then release the money. And the beauty of this thing is that, the monies are directly going to the contractors. It's not to the ministry, and then our team of consultants, and then our professionals.
Straight to the contractors from Shopi?
From Shopi directly to the contractor's account. As soon as the IPCs are raised by the ministries, it will come to us. We go physically inspect with our consultants, and they come and then submit it to the main committee by the subcommittee, who will take decision that if it is worth paying, is paying. Then the accounting officer with the DG budget will credit the account of the contractor.
So we can say simply that the second Niger bridge is at initial, conception stage, as it were.
It's PPP.
It's PPP, yes. Yes, but there's money for that. We have, last year we have earmarked about 10 billion, but unfortunately because of, we cannot just pay money without really working, unlike before. So the money is there, and then for 2013 also additional money is there. So we are ready now waiting for the ministry to submit the bidder, which has reached advanced stage now.
Okay. Madam, you have identified 136 general hospitals across the 36 states of the Federation and FCT for upgrading and for equipment, supply and stuff like that. How far have you gone with this? We have supplied certain equipment that the general hospital requires. And the general hospitals that require renovation, because some of the general hospitals are really in good shape, that was what we identified. So we have, but one thing is we've provided them with the equipment. The same thing with the primary, the 500. We've also, apart from the human resources we put there, we've also supplied them with drugs. Okay.
And these drugs are free. We've also supplied them with all the equipment they need to allow a woman to deliver safely. So some of the hospitals, no beds, we've provided with beds. So that's when, in addition to that, what I want to add is also because we're supposed to be adding more hospitals every year. Last year was 500, and this year we're also adding 500. We've gone far in trying also to renovate those additional hospitals. In addition to that, we also felt that after going there, we realized some of the hospitals do not even have water.
Okay.
And you cannot have a functioning hospital
without water, of course.
Of course, the hygiene, etc. So another thing, we've also built boreholes in those primary healthcare facilities, and the boreholes are running, and in fact, the whole community also enjoying the water. So that is also, I really want to clarify this.
And I want to say this before you go further. I understand, from my understanding, general hospitals are within the jurisdiction of state government.
Yes.
Because it falls under the secondary health care scheme.
Exactly.
Are you working with the state government towards supplying all this equipment?
Oh, definitely. One thing for me, first of all, both state government and federal government are all working for Nigerians.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But then, as we know, PSC, they are under the local government. The private personnel, they are under the state.
Okay.
So we are working, in fact, the identification of the hospitals is the state that will identify the hospital. And we work with them also to identify the general hospital, and then on the basis of that, what is it they need? And then we also provide them. So it's, for us, it's a collaborative effort that needs to be done. But for me as a committee member, I really want to clarify this, being a committee. I want to make it very clear. SUOP committee does not award contracts. SUOP committee does not have the fund with us. The funds is with the central bank. The contract is awarded by the ministries.
By the ministries?
By the ministries.
Relevant ministries?
The relevant ministries. So for the works, the contract has been awarded by the ministries. What SUOP does is to make sure that the money is spent for what it's meant to be. So if the money is meant for a road, they have awarded the contract, and they will give it, the contractor will execute the contract. And then there will be a certificate. They will bring the certificate to us. We will go and verify that that money is, what they said is done with the money. We don't want to share the work. They said it's done, it's not done. We verified, once it's verified, to ensure accountability, we okay it within a short period of time. We okay it, and we give it to the DG budget, who approve it, and the central bank release the money direct to the contractor. It's just entrusted with the money, nothing more.
Thank you very much. Now, mass transit is perhaps one veritable avenue to reach the mass of the people who were pained when the subsidies were removed. And we understand that you just procured 809 buses so far under your mass transit scheme. This is like a drop in the ocean. I'm talking of 160-something million people. And that you have appropriated about 8.9 billion naira, and about 18 private transport owners have benefited from this. I want you to clarify this.
Yeah, well, last year, that is 2012, quite all right, you are right, that purchases were done by the Infrastructure Bank alongside with Ministry of Transport. Okay. At that time, just like the teething period when we started, actually we didn't have any convener. But now we have a convener by name Professor Kulia Dewahaf, a seasoned, technocrat, and then the pioneer due process person during last regime. So he is now spearheading this one. So what we did now, alongside with the convener and then the committee members, is just to identify with the PIU, which has been created within the Ministry, Automotive Council of Nigeria, and also the operators as well, because we are giving documents, so we need to establish whether they are in existence or not, whether those buses were purchased or not, and this is taking painful time, and we're able to establish the fact that some of the vehicles purchased were not as need-based factors, so to say. So now what we're doing is that we are liaising with all the operators, including the PIU, to establish the need of the people, the type of the buses, also the model as well. So for now, we have about 6.1 billion earmarked for purchases of more buses.
Oh, that's good news for Nigeria. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say something about the buses. When we come in, by that time, the federal government, there was really the port-reserve system. Federal government had bought the buses. The initial buses were not bought by the committee members. But when we come in, of course, Nigerians know, so many Nigerians were not satisfied with the buses.
That's right.
And we were also equally not satisfied with the buses. So, but then we have to come to a kind of an agreement for us to move it on. And that was what he really meant. We only took over the issue of mass transit seriously only this year.
Only this year. Okay, so we should expect better services and more buses.
And more buses and quality buses.
Functional buses.
Functional buses. The first one we were involved.
And I want to ask you about manpower training in the health sector. Are you doing anything in this regard?
We are, and in fact, we need, what is obvious is that we don't have enough health workers, and especially midwives. Yes. And so we're really going to work with the council, the Midwifery and Nursing Council, to see how we can produce more. But importantly, even those that we are producing, they need hand skills. They need to know how to handle them. Of course, we have gone through the training. We know how our institutions are. So in addition, so it's not only employing them, But at the same time, we're also building the capacity to be able to respond to emergencies, especially in the rural areas. So what we're saying, there is in-service training. Those that we have recruited are being trained again. In addition to that, we really want to tackle the issue of the shortage of midwives. We cannot reduce maternal mortality in Nigeria without increasing the output of midwives. And this is what we are also working on.
Thank you. Engineer Fatuma, Nigerian economy is road-driven substantially. We are more on the road, down on the rail, and of course on the air. And I know that railway is part of the programs that you have in Shopee. And of course, you facilitated what happened between Lagos and Kano, which is a thing to celebrate. How many coaches are you planning to put on the road to make it more effective?
Well, this is also another critical infrastructure component that we do. We are intervening in the Eastern Line as well as the Western Line, which is the Eastern is from Port Harcourt, Bakurdi, then through Kaduna, Jos, Kuru, and Maiduguri. So about 1,224 thereabout kilometers. And the one for Lagos, Java, and Kano, which will intervene between Java and Kano, is functional now. About 98%, so to say, is completed, awaiting for the signaling and other remedial works to be completed.
There's one aspect that must mention, and the question is for both of you. There was an allegation about 2 weeks ago that 500 billion naira is missing from the Shopee account. Where is the 500 billion naira that belongs to Nigerians?
Good question. Where is it? I'm equally asking that question. Where is it?
I'm asking you.
Let us understand how Shopee works. The money given to us, we did not receive. Shopee did not receive that money. The federal government gives us the money, and so what the government gave us is what we are working on, and so far is 287 billion. That's the total we received last year. 287 billion we have received so far, and for all of the infrastructures you've mentioned. So that 500 billion, we also, just the way you see, the way Nigeria heard about it, that is how we didn't know. So I'm sure it's the transition.
Let's ask. So we may not have the news where the 500 billion.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Yes, indeed, Shopee, as in your introductory remarks, you said receives 41% of the accrued subsidy. Okay. That's the federal government share. And of course, you know that, the remaining 54% goes to state government and local governments, and that is 5% which goes to ecological. So this 41%, what comes to Shopee every month constantly is 15 billion. So if you multiply 15 billion by 12 months, is 180 billion. Last year, we were not able to spend all the money. Luckily enough, unlike normal budget, the remaining money of about 93 billion was rolled over to 2013.
So are you saying the 500 billion naira was for state and local government?
It might be, we
don't know, but this is the sharing formula I'm telling you now. So our own, I can talk.
1% shares is what you can account for.
This is what we can account for.
And that shares that go to state and local government. Only state and local government can account for that. Why the 5% goes to the ecological fund?
Yes.
So the 500 billion naira, you don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is. The only thing we know is the 287 I mentioned. That's what the Shopee committee knows.
I want to ask lastly, because the time is against us. Do you have a mechanism for monitoring how state and local government utilize their own share of the subsidy fund?
No, it's not our responsibility. Just like it's not the responsibility of Mr. President to check how the governors spend their money.
Of course, it's the same way. Federalism.
It's the same way.
With you. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's nice having you.
It's nice.
And I hope more programs in the area of health will be witnessed by Nigerians in a couple of
there's no doubt they will see that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Fatima, the convener, Maternal and Child Health Program from the Shopee office. Thank you for having me on the program. Of course, Engineer Buka Ali Fatuma, I'm sorry to call you Fatuma, the Coordinator Programs Operation for Shopee. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, viewers.
Well, Thank you very much. That has been Engineer Buka Fatuma and, of course, Dr. Fatima from Shopping office. Up next is our special interview program with Colonel Tony Inyam. Don't go away. Welcome back. Colonel Tony Inyam, retired, is a man whose name rings a loud bell, though for different reasons, depending on the particular circle or the particular forum. He was, on the last week, a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee on National Dialogue. At the South-South pre-conference hearing in Benin City, he had an altercation, or shall I call it a shouting match, with Governor Adams Oshiomhole. Colonel Tony Inyam, retired, is my guest on Inside Special Interview segment today. Colonel, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice having you. May I say that Colonel Tony Inyam, retired, is a quantity surveyor by training.
Indeed.
He has his master's degree in international relations and security studies.
Yes.
Of course, he belongs to the Army Corps of the Nigerian Army. Yes. I want to start from the latest.
Sure.
What happened in Benin? What led to the altercation?
First of all, let me correct one impression. I had no shouting mouth, shouting whatever with the governor. There was gross misrepresentation in that the first outing of the press listened to one side and never listened to my side.
But they said you shouted him down, and that led to other people.
No. In fact, completely not true. We were at the head table. The head table is a very long table. I was on the other side of the table. The governor was speaking from the governor's podium on the right-hand side. What happened, what came out of my body and was the crying out aloud, a sound, no, not again. That's all I said.
You interrupted him.
You wouldn't, yes, you may say, that's what came out of. It was a reaction because of one.
Why that reaction?
The reaction was that, first, something that I'm passionate about. I see a country where we are at crossroads. We have crises of insurgency, we see kidnapping, we have youth unemployment, we have everything. And we are facing a crisis that we need to sit down and discuss about. And someone says, a national conference is not what we need.
So you're talking about your emotions.
No, the national conference is irrelevant. But this is something that we have been fighting for years, even now. There's a need for Nigerians to sit down and discuss how they want to coexist. And I think in that meaningful meeting, like it happened in South Africa, if we can really follow it with the truth and reconciliation, so we can all air our grievances and heal, and a process of healing ourselves, I think we can get back Nigeria to work. Nigeria is a great country. When someone comes and dismisses that, it was very painful.
Okay, I agree that emotions
there was no
took you over.
Can I say there was no? I never faced Governor Oshiomhole. All I shouted was no, not again. When his talks rushed at me, of course, by my training,